Hello everybody. By this gorgeous scenery behind me, I am at Fort Stevens State Park in Oregon. It's right on the southern shore of the Columbia River, right where Oregon meets Washington. And I am actually going to start hiking the Oregon Coast Trail today. I usually put up an introduction video with a peek inside my pack, but I was in a little hurry to get here today and didn't have time to do that. So the Oregon Coast Trail is about 413 miles down the coast to the Oregon border with California. So we're gonna have daily videos for a couple weeks now. This should be really fun. It's gonna be a little different than a lot of other thru hikes in that it's not really a wilderness trail. It's a beach walk that goes through beach towns, so it's gonna be basically front country. I'm gonna be spending quite a few times in hotels and paid campgrounds, a lot more than I would on a normal trail. But the plus side is I don't need to do big heavy food carries because I'm going through towns basically every day. So today is going to be interesting. I'm going to start at the mouth of the Columbia River, and I am going to hike to the town of Seaside, which is also where I spent last night. The northern part of this trail has some issues with camping restrictions, so the first day is going to be to a hotel, maybe the second day as well. So I'm going back to that hotel that I stayed at last night, which means I get to leave a lot of stuff behind in my pack, and so it should just be a nice amble on the beach today. So I'm really excited to get started. So beyond all this construction here is the south jetty to the Columbia River. Behind that water over there is the state of Washington. This is right at the river mouth. That's Cape Disappointment over there. Okay, and I'm at the observation tower at Fort Stevens State Park, so that's the South Jetty, the mouth of the Columbia River, and I will be heading in this gorgeous direction south to the town of Seaside. And here we go, officially on the beach in the morning light. We got the natural dunes, the driftwood. I actually saw some flowers too. I'm gonna need to look up. And then there's the ocean. I think I'm gonna get tired of walking next to the ocean. This first week or so is gonna be kind of typical Pacific Northwest gloomy-ish weather, maybe even some rain, probably towards the end of the week. But right now, after that, it's predicting to look sunny. I'm gonna move a little bit closer to the water. The sand isn't too bad here, but it is a little soft. It might be a little hard packed closer to the water, but wow, this is super cool already. Look at this, already getting the true beach experience. A bunch of sand dollar skeletons. That's the only full one I've seen so far. There's a whole bunch of broken ones here. So that means that somewhere out here is a sand dollar bed, sand dollar colony. Super cool. So you can see this channel on the beach between here and the water. This is where the tide line goes up to. So right now we have a low tide and just had a full moon. So these are spring tides, which means that the low tides go further out, they're lower. During this trail, I'm going to alternate spring and neap tides. Neap tides, the low tide doesn't go as far out. So that's important because there are certain parts of this trail that need to be rounded at low tide, otherwise you can't round them. Cool thing coming up, I can see it in the distance, is a shipwreck. And zoom in a little bit. It's like called the Peter Irwindale or something like that. And it's from 1906. And I've seen pictures on Google where the water comes all the way up to that shipwreck. So nice low tide right now. Getting closer to the shipwreck, it looks like it's by a trailhead. Also looks like you can drive on this beach. I've seen at least one truck. This is actually the Peter Iredale, not Irwindale. It's an English sailing vessel, and again, it shipwrecked in 1906. Bald eagle. Well, that was cool. Just have a bald eagle show up right in front of me on the beach. About halfway down the first beach walk of the trail. It's like a 15-mile beach walk, and so far the tide has been out enough that I have this nice compact sand that obviously people have also been driving on. But you can see the water is much closer, there's less of a beach. So down there towards the headland is where I'll be ending the day. And then let me sweep around the Moody Ocean, and back at that headland, that's Washington back there. So with the exception of some critters and shipwreck, it's been pretty uneventful, but you're walking right next to the ocean. That's still fantastic. Ooh, this is a big one. I've been seeing all these washed up jellyfish. It's kind of hard to tell what they are when they're out of the water. It's a nice red color though. That's a big one. Been seeing them washed up on the beach for a while now, but most of them have been pretty small. That one was pretty big. So again, a lot of cars are driving on this beach. If you can tell by the models of them, they are all four-wheel drive. Looks like somebody tried to take their sedan on the beach, and those are emergency flashers. So we're still not at high tide yet, so this part that I'm walking is really, really firm, and you probably could take a sedan on it, but you can't drive the soft sand to get out here. So I stopped for a snack on the beach, but snack on the beach means seagulls approach you. This guy just walked right up to me. Oh, I got another one. It's rounded. Seriously right now? I thought this was a rock. This is a whale. This is a dead, rotting whale. Let's see. I can barely tell which end is up. I don't know what type of whale that is. That is a whale. Holy cow. Okay. I guess you just let the whales sit here when they wash up? That is crazy. That is crazy. It stinks. It doesn't stink as much as I thought it would for its condition, but that's a whale. Holy cow. Alrighty. Continuing on. Almost at the peak of high tide now, and you can see there's a lot less beach to walk on up in the softer sand right now. All that nice hard packed stuff is over there. The difference between low tide and high tide today was about 5 feet, but that's vertical feet, not horizontal feet. So this is a very gradual sloping beach, so huge difference in where the water line goes in those 5 feet of height. Okay, much closer to town now. You can actually see it in the distance. Buildings. But I have to go on a road walk now because there's a big outlet there that I can't cross. So this is my exit from the beach, and I'm about to start a couple miles of town walk. Entering Seaside city limits, right next to the 101. Approaching the first bridge. Fire danger is moderate today. looking ahead and almost missed this. This is the outlet I would have had to cross, but instead the trail goes through town. I've got one more bridge to cross over. Okay, crossing bridge number 2. I actually see the beach right in front of me, and then this leads out to that big outlet area. Alright, we got the entrance to the ocean here, and technically the Oregon Coast Trail goes on the beach. However, I'm going to take the historic promenade, which actually starts right here through the town of Seaside, because that is where my endpoint, aka my hotel, is located. Over here we have the beach. Here we have the promenade. And this is my hotel. Pretty nice. And that's it. Pretty fun and adventurous day 1. Tomorrow is what I'm calling my Goonies day, because I'm going to be going past a couple of sites where they filmed the 80s movie The Goonies.